A grandfather bought a starship from the First Galactic War. The revelation shocked the Admirals. Its massive ceiling arched high above, glass panels reflecting distant stars, while beams of artificial sunlight illuminated rows of gleaming starships, alien war relics and devices thought lost to history. The air buzzed with tension, a mix of commerce, curiosity, and competition. Admirals, corporate moguls, and relic hunters from dozens of star systems milled about, their voices overlapping in a strange harmony of commerce. Elias, leaning on his polished wooden cane, moved slowly through the hall. His silver hair reflected the bright lights above, and his eyes, sharp and knowing, scanned the crowd carefully. Around him, alien delegates with clawed hands and elongated heads whispered, checking their wrist pads for real-time bids. Corporations sent drones overhead to calculate the value of each relic. And there he was, a single human, appearing almost too fragile to compete. Beside him, his granddaughter Lyra rolled her eyes in quiet frustration. "Grandfather, are you serious? You're just a man. These ships are worth more than entire cities in credits." Elias gave a small smile, the corners of his mouth twitching. "Sometimes, Lyra, the value isn't in what they cost, but in what they can do. Watch and learn." Their eyes settled on a starship at the far end of the hall. Its hull was scratched and scarred, old but imposing. The name was engraved faintly along the side, Vanguard's Legacy. No ship had carried that name in over 2 centuries. It had been destroyed in the First Galactic War, or so everyone believed. Admirals spoke of it as a myth, a relic of battles long past. Lyra gasped softly. That's the Vanguard's Legacy." "Grandfather, they said it was lost forever," Elias shrugged. "Lost, yes. Forgotten, apparently not." The auctioneer's voice boomed, echoing across the hall. "Lot 92, the Vanguard's Legacy. Wreckage recovered from the far rim, believed inoperative. Bidding starts at 5 million credits." Immediately, the crowd erupted. Alien delegates raised their paddles, some sneering, others eager. Elias waited. When the auctioneer looked directly at him, eyebrows raised in disbelief, Elias calmly pressed the button on his wrist pad. 5.5 million. A murmur ran through the crowd. A human, bidding, on a warship that none of them dared touch. 6 million, shouted a reptilian admiral, claws clicking against his pad. 7 million, Elias replied softly, almost apologetically. Yet there was a quiet power in his tone, a certainty that drew attention. The bidding escalated rapidly. Credits flickered across holographic screens, flashing higher and higher, and Elias raised his voice only when necessary, never losing composure. The aliens grew frustrated. They whispered furiously to each other. "A human, what does he want with it?" Finally, the auctioneer announced, "Going once, going twice." Elias pressed the button one final time. 10 million. The hall fell silent. 10 million for a wrecked ship that had been gathering dust in the far rim for decades. And then, sold, to Elias Rydor. Gasps erupted. Aliens almost knocked over each other in their rush to see the human who had outbid them all. Some muttered darkly, "What does he plan to do?" "Repair it, fly it, this is impossible." Lyra squeezed her grandfather's arm, partly worried, partly thrilled. "Grandfather, are you sure you know what you're doing?" Elias smiled again. "I've been waiting a long time for this moment, Lyra." Let's see if they remember the name Vanguard. The Vanguard's Legacy had been towed to a quiet docking bay on Korath 9. Its hull bore the scars of centuries, dents from plasma blasts, chipped armor, and faded insignia. But even in its worn state, it retained a powerful aura. There was a sense of history, of battles fought and won, and secrets hidden within. As they entered the ship, Lyra's eyes widened. "It's bigger than I imagined." She walked down the narrow corridor, brushing her hands along the metal walls. "And strangely, it feels alive." "Ships remember their pilots," Elias said softly, "and this one remembers the humans who flew her best." He led her to the bridge, where faded consoles blinked weakly, waiting for a hand skilled enough to awaken them. Dust coated the control panels, but underneath there was a subtle hum, the heartbeat of a ship that had slept too long. "Grandfather, you really think you can make her fly again?" Lyra asked, her voice a mixture of awe and doubt. Elias chuckled. "Not just fly. Outrun, outthink, outmaneuver anything they throw at us." Lyra blinked. "Anything. Especially anything," he said, his eyes twinkling. "That's the human advantage. Creativity, intuition, adaptability. Aliens think in patterns, in rules. Humans, we bend the rules." Back at the auction hall, news of the sale had spread like wildfire. Alien admirals contacted each other in disbelief. Fleet commanders scrambled communications channels. One hollow message after another arrived, all variations of the same urgent question. How is a human able to claim the Vanguard's legacy? Meanwhile, on Korath 9 docking bay, Elias and Lyra began inspecting the ship in detail. Hidden compartments revealed old weapons caches, cloaking devices, and experimental engines, technology that had been considered impossible even in modern fleets. Lyra ran her fingers over the dormant controls, her mind racing to imagine the possibilities. "This is incredible," she murmured. "The blueprints alone are worth a fortune." Elias nodded. "But it's not just the blueprints, Lyra, it's what we do with them." He activated the ship's power systems carefully. Lights flickered to life, hums echoed through the corridors, and the engines whispered as if waking from a long slumber. Lyra's eyes sparkled. "You're really going to fly this?" she asked. "Tomorrow," Elias replied, "but not for them. We fly for us first. Let the admirals wait." As night fell over Korath 9, the stars reflected off the polished hull of the Vanguard's legacy. A soft wind from the docking bay brushed against the ship's surfaces. Elias stood on the bridge, looking out at the galaxy. Centuries of history seemed to fold into that moment. He remembered the stories his grandfather had told him, of battles fought across star systems, of ships disappearing in the darkness of war, and of human courage that had always shone when hope seemed lost. "Tomorrow," he whispered, "we remind them why humans never stay lost." Lyra, standing beside him, put a hand on his shoulder. "And what if they try to stop us?" Elias looked at her, a calm confidence in his eyes. "Then we'll show them what a human mind and heart can do. They've forgotten one thing: humans are unpredictable. And the Vanguard's legacy remembers." Somewhere across the galaxy, alien admirals watched their sensors and tried to calculate probabilities. None could. How could one human, in a ship thought destroyed centuries ago, hold so much potential? And as the stars stretched endlessly before the docking bay, the Vanguard's legacy hummed quietly, as if it, too, was ready for the adventure to come. The morning sun on Korath 9 reflected off the hull of the Vanguard's legacy in brilliant shards of gold and silver. Inside, the ship seemed to hum with a quiet life, responding to the careful hands of its new human crew. Lyra Rydor moved quickly across the bridge, her eyes scanning readouts and consoles, her fingers tracing the touch-sensitive panels. Every display flickered to life under her guidance, revealing systems that had been silent for centuries. "This is amazing," she breathed. "Grandfather, I've read about ships like this, but I never thought I'd see one with my own eyes." Elias, leaning against the captain's chair, smiled. "It's not just amazing, Lyra, it's dangerous in the right hands." She glanced at him, puzzled. "Dangerous, but for whom? Us?" He shook his head. "For anyone who underestimates it. That includes entire fleets." The day began with a careful inspection of the ship's systems. Elias and Lyra moved through corridors, opening panels that revealed hidden weapon caches, cloaking modules, and experimental energy drives that even modern engineers had only read about in old war manuals. "This engine," Lyra whispered, "is unlike anything I've ever seen. If it works, it could outrun anything in the galaxy." Elias nodded. "It's not just speed, it's maneuverability, stealth, and adaptability. Humans designed it to think ahead, not just react." and I know how to make it work." He activated a hidden console beneath the main bridge floor, revealing a holographic map of star systems. Several routes flickered across the display, highlighting regions that were off-limits to ordinary ships. "These," Elias said, "are corridors humans used during the First Galactic War. We can navigate them faster than any fleet tracking us." Lyra frowned. "But the Admirals, they're already sending scouts. Won't they catch us?" Elias chuckled. "That's the beauty of a human mind. They calculate probabilities. They plan in patterns. We improvise." By mid-afternoon, sensors indicated incoming vessels. Alien scouts from the nearby Galactic Alliance fleet were approaching Korath 9, curious about the human who had claimed the Vanguard's legacy. Elias didn't panic. Instead, he led Lyra to the control console and began explaining the ship's most mysterious feature, the adaptive cloaking system. "It's been dormant for over 2 centuries," he said. "The first Galactic War fleet designed it to hide in plain sight. It manipulates energy around the ship, light, sensors, even magnetic fields. Most fleets think it's impossible, but humans can make the impossible happen." Lyra's eyes widened. "You mean we can disappear?" Elias nodded, fingers flying over the controls. The ship hummed louder, energy flowing through hidden channels. Slowly, the Vanguard's legacy shimmered, then vanished from sensors, leaving only a faint echo of its existence. In orbit above Korath 9, the alien scouts scanned the area repeatedly. "Impossible," one reptilian admiral hissed. "The ship, it's gone. It should be here. All readings show it, then nothing," another sighed. "No human ship can do this. The legends, they said it was destroyed, yet somehow it moves and yet it does not move. We are being mocked by a relic." Back on the Vanguard's legacy, Lyra laughed quietly, excitement dancing in her eyes. "It's beautiful, grandfather. It's like the ship is alive." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "It is alive, Lyra. Ships remember the humans who fly them best. And humans remember how to listen." Over the next several hours, Elias guided Lyra through the secrets of the ship. Hidden compartments contained prototype weapons, energy shields, and holographic maps of regions that had not been charted for centuries. Each system, each device, required a mix of intuition and experience to operate, something modern alien fleets could not replicate. "You see this?" Elias pointed at a cluster of glowing controls. "Most would try to activate all systems at once. They'd burn the circuits or alert the fleet. Humans, we take our time, we think, we improvise, we listen to the ship." Lyra mirrored her grandfather's movements, learning quickly. "So it's like the ship trusts us," Elias smiled. "More than trust, it recognizes humans." By evening, scouts were replaced by a small fleet. Galactic Alliance admirals, furious at the human audacity, had sent multiple vessels to intercept the Vanguard's legacy. On their bridges, commanders barked orders, confident that sheer numbers would force the human into surrender. On the Vanguard's legacy, Elias stood at the bridge, observing the fleet through the ship's sensors. "They think they've cornered us," he said softly. "That's the mistake humans make them believe." Lyra frowned. "We're outnumbered. Even if we cloak, they could find us." Elias leaned over her shoulder. "Not if we move differently. They expect patterns. Humans make none. Watch." With a few swift gestures, he activated the ship's adaptive thrusters, combining cloaking with unpredictable maneuvers. The Vanguard's legacy darted across space, disappearing behind planets, weaving between asteroid fields and slipping into gravitational shadows. Alien scanners faltered, unable to anticipate human ingenuity. One admiral groaned, clawed fingers clutching his console. "This is impossible. How does one human evade an entire fleet?" Hours passed as the Vanguard's legacy executed daring maneuvers. Lyra began to understand why her grandfather had chosen this ship. Its systems responded to intuition, adapting in real time. Every movement felt alive, almost like a dance. "You're amazing, grandfather," she whispered. I never knew humans could do this. He smiled faintly. This is what they forget. Warships, technology, numbers, they all matter. But humans matter most when everything else fails. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a familiar anomaly, a region known as the Iron Rift, dangerous for modern ships due to unstable energy currents. The alien fleet, confident in their speed and numbers, was moving straight into it. Elia's eyes glimmered. Perfect. He guided the Vanguard's legacy into the rift, using its adaptive energy shields to ride the volatile current safely. The fleet followed blindly, their sensors scrambled by the ship's unique cloaking. One by one, the alien vessels were forced to retreat, unable to track or adapt. As the rift cleared, the human ship emerged unscathed, the fleet scattered in confusion. Lyra could hardly contain her excitement. "Grandfather, we did it. We actually outsmarted them." Elias chuckled softly, watching the retreating alien ships. "They've learned one lesson today. Never underestimate humans. They think numbers and firepower matter most. But a human mind combined with courage and patience, can change the game entirely." Night fell over the distant stars, painting the Vanguard's legacy in hues of silver and blue. Lyra sat in the captain's chair, exhausted but exhilarated, while Elias reviewed old tactical manuals from the First Galactic War. "You know," Lyra said quietly, "this ship, it feels like it remembers the war, like it wants us to continue what humans started centuries ago." Elias nodded, thoughtful. "Perhaps. Or perhaps it's reminding the galaxy of something else, that humans are never truly defeated. They adapt, they survive, they innovate, and they will always fight back when underestimated." A soft vibration ran through the ship like a purr. Lyra placed her hand on the console. "Do you think it trusts us?" Elias smiled. "It does more than trust us. It knows humans can make the impossible real." As the ship slipped silently through uncharted space, a signal reached the Galactic Alliance Command. Admirals gathered around a hollow screen, furious and baffled. "The human, he's gone. Our fleets cannot find him. Our sensors fail." "How is this possible?" One admiral slammed a clawed hand on the table. "We've underestimated them for centuries, and now one human, one relic ship has outsmarted all of us." Another leaned forward, whispering, "The Vanguard's legacy, it's more than a ship. It's a warning." Back aboard the human ship, Lyra watched the stars streak past the viewport. "Grandfather, where are we going?" Elias' gaze was fixed on the distant galaxy. "Somewhere they will never expect. Somewhere we can prepare. The galaxy thinks humans are small, weak, and predictable. We'll show them otherwise." And in the hum of the Vanguard's legacy, the ship seemed to agree, ready to take humans and their ingenuity into the unknown, where courage, creativity, and adaptability would define their destiny. The galaxy was quiet, almost deceptively calm. Far from Korath 9, the human starship Vanguard's legacy drifted among the stars, hidden within a nebula where sensors could barely reach. Inside, Elias Rydor and his granddaughter Lyra were hard at work, preparing the ship for a demonstration the galaxy would never forget. Lyra adjusted the controls, excitement and determination burning in her eyes. "Grandfather, do you think they'll believe us? The admirals, the fleets, do you think they'll ever understand what humans can do?" Elias smiled faintly. "They will understand soon enough. Humans are underestimated everywhere. That has always been our advantage. And the Vanguard's legacy, she reminds the galaxy exactly who we are." He tapped on a hidden console, activating a sequence of systems that had been dormant for centuries. Panels lit up in a cascade of pale blue, and the hum of ancient engines filled the corridors. The ship seemed to breathe, alive and aware of its purpose. "This," Elias said softly, "is when the story begins." Meanwhile, across the sector, the Galactic Alliance admirals were in a panic. Their fleets had spent days tracking the human, only to lose him repeatedly. Sensors, cloaking, strategy, nothing worked. A council meeting was called in the central command station. Hollow screens displayed star charts with blinking red dots where the Vanguard's legacy should have been. "This is unacceptable," barked Admiral Vorak, a towering reptilian with jagged scales. "One human, one ancient relic has humiliated our fleet. How is this possible?" Another admiral, a tall, thin insectoid, tapped nervously on his console. "The reports are consistent. They have seen the ship disappear, reappear, evade entire squadrons. Our calculations show no logical way this could happen. Humans, they're unpredictable." Vorak slammed a claw on the table. "Then we must act, gather the fleet. We will corner the human. We will force him to surrender." But deep down, even Vorak wondered if surrender was possible. Humans had a way of surprising even the most logical mind. Back on the Vanguard's legacy, Elias and Lyra prepared for the ship's final trial. A map of the galaxy stretched across the holographic console, showing key systems, trade routes, and fleet positions. Their plan was simple yet daring: demonstrate the ship's power in a controlled way that would leave the galaxy in awe without spilling unnecessary blood. "This," Elias said, "is not about war. It's about proving a point. Humans are not to be underestimated. They calculate, they adapt, and they survive. And above all, they innovate." Lyra nodded, adjusting a series of energy conduits that had not been touched for centuries. "Grandfather, it feels like the ship is alive, like she's waiting for us to finish what humans started." Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. "She remembers. Humans built her to endure, to think, to win when odds are impossible. That's what we'll show them." The first test came in the form of a fleet blockade near the rim of Andara. 10 of the galaxy's most advanced warships had been dispatched to intercept the Vanguard's legacy. Sensors scanned the nebula, but the human ship had already vanished from sight. "Impossible," muttered one admiral. "The human has disappeared again." Elias activated the ship's cloaking field and adaptive thrusters, moving silently through the nebula. The Vanguard's legacy twisted through ion storms and magnetic fields, its movements impossible to predict. When the alien fleet tried to follow, their sensors returned only confusion. Lyra grinned. "They'll never catch us this way. It's like dancing around them without them even noticing." Elias nodded. "Exactly. Humans don't fight on predictable lines. We move, we adapt, we exploit what others overlook. Watch closely." Using ancient tactical strategies combined with modern improvisation, Elias guided the ship around the blockade. Hidden energy channels amplified the ship's speed, while cloaking ensured it remained invisible. One by one, alien vessels were forced to retreat or risk collisions in the hazardous nebula. When the blockade finally dispersed, the human ship made its way to the Galactic Council. A system long thought safe and neutral became the stage for the ultimate revelation. Lyra and Elias approached cautiously. The council chambers were filled with alien representatives, all staring at their screens in shock as the Vanguard's legacy appeared out of nowhere, docking flawlessly in the central hub. A stunned silence filled the room. Then whispers erupted. "Impossible! How?" The human, Elias disembarked with Lyra at his side. His tall frame and calm demeanor commanded attention. He spoke slowly, deliberately, each word echoing through the chamber. "Admirals of the Galactic Alliance, I am Elias Rydor. This ship, the Vanguard's legacy, was built in the First Galactic War to endure the impossible. Today, it demonstrates not just technology but the human spirit. Humans are creative. Humans are unpredictable. Humans survive, even when logic says we cannot." The council erupted in murmurs, some nervous, some impressed. One admiral spoke, voice trembling. You survived fleets that outnumbered you 10 to 1. Elias smiled faintly. "We did more than survive. We adapted, we innovated, and we proved that even one human mind with courage and skill can outthink fleets and strategies centuries newer than ourselves." Lyra stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. The Vanguard's legacy is more than a ship. It's proof that humans never give up, that we never accept limits imposed by others. We honor history by surpassing it. The council fell silent, absorbing the words. Screens around the room showed sensor logs of the human ship's maneuvers. Impossible speed, perfect evasion, and complete mastery of systems no other crew could comprehend. For the first time, the aliens realized what humans had always been capable of, even if history had tried to erase it. "Humans," muttered Vorak, shaking his scaled head, "we have underestimated you for centuries." Elias nodded. "And that was your mistake. We are not here to conquer. We are here to show that underestimation is dangerous." The council representatives looked at each other, conflicted. Fear, respect, and awe mingled in their expressions. They could not deny the human accomplishment. One by one, alien leaders bowed slightly, not out of submission but out of recognition. Humans had returned to the galaxy, not as mere survivors, but as innovators and leaders in thought, strategy, and courage. After the demonstration, Elias and Lyra returned to the ship. The galaxy now knew the human capability, yet no one dared challenge them recklessly. For the first time in centuries, humans were not underestimated. Lyra looked at her grandfather, eyes wide. "Grandfather, we did it. The galaxy, they finally see what humans can do." Elias smiled. "Yes, Lyra, but this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast and opportunities to prove human ingenuity are endless. Our advantage is not just technology, not just this ship, it's us. Humans. Our minds, our courage, our creativity." They walked through the corridors, the Vanguard's legacy humming beneath them, alive and aware. It seemed to recognize its crew, responding to their movements, almost as if it had waited centuries for humans to return. "Grandfather," Lyra said softly, "where do we go next?" Elias gazed out the viewport at the stars stretching endlessly before them. "Anywhere we choose. Humans are explorers, innovators, survivors, and wherever the galaxy tests us, we will rise." And with that, the Vanguard's legacy glided silently into uncharted space, ready for new adventures, carrying humans and their indomitable spirit across the stars. Admirals and fleets across the galaxy would never forget this day. The day one human and one ancient ship reminded the galaxy that humans are unpredictable, unstoppable, and unforgettable. The galaxy had been shocked. Admirals could no longer calculate probabilities against humans. Generations of strategies had failed against ingenuity, courage, and creativity. One ship, one human mind, had proven the impossible.